Hello and welcome to the 2021 Peacebridge Highland Open in beautiful TROON, Ontario, Canada. This coverage is brought to you by Canadian Disc Golf Productions. We're here for the round one coverage. I am your host, Patrick McCauley, and I'm sitting with...
Colleen McInnes. Welcome, everyone. And we got some sponsors here.
The ODSA Club Tour. This is stop 8 of 10, sponsored by Forefathers Brewing in Cambridge. A look at the course here atop Blue Mountain in Grey County, Southern Ontario. That's our island hole preview. And we're going to take a look on the round one FPO action.
All right, this is me, Colleen McInnes, coming in with my drama face. Brianna Ainsley visiting from BC. She might now be an Ontario resident. Kat Johnson coming in with her second FPO tournament.
Oh, there she is. I waved back, actually.
And Erica Tucker. Beautiful to have Erica. This is her home course.
Ontario champ.
And Alicia. And Alicia's a new FPO player, so we're very excited to have her.
Very first time on coverage. So, hole one, brought to you by Starting Lineup Uniforms and Apparel in Collingwood.
This hole is 255 feet. It's pretty straightforward. You are perched up on the tee pad. The left has a little bit of danger. You can't see it, but there is a creek on the left side. So there is a drop zone right where you can see that orange snow fence. So most players, for us, it's try and keep it as straight as you can. Probably throw in a mid-range, trying to maybe do a little bit of a hyzer in, hoping that these trees stop you right inside the circle.
Yeah, popular little forehand throw. There's a bunch of orange posts in there that can stop you right before the basket. Up first, it's going to be Kat Johnson on the tee. Just turned pro this year as well.
A beautiful shot there. We're hoping she stays in bounds. It looks good. You have to go pretty far over left to get into that water.
Yeah, and that snow fence is just to catch discs. It's not an OB line.
All right, Brianna whipping out a forehand here.
Oh, that's going to turn over. That's a common mistake. It's a tough first hole. A lot of those discs end up back in the creek on your first shot of the day.
This is Alicia. Just so smooth. I really like how she bent over to get low there.
Right at it.
Keeping her disc very flat. And this is Erica Tucker.
She opts for the straight at it line too. That does take less of the side of the creek out of play. So I like that play, actually. That's how I would do it as well.
Yeah, and like I said, hitting those trees to stop you, really nice because you're in the circle for a putt.
Mm-hmm. And Colleen.
Throwing my truth here and just overshooting it a little.
Yeah, that was the best line. Just off to the side, let it pan in to that green. Brianna is on the drop zone?
Yes.
Yeah, so she did end up OB.
So that was for her 3. Hopefully she can tap that in for a 4. And Kat here with the birdie run.
Looking great in that diameter shirt.
Right, their shirts are so nice. No sponsor promotion there, but no. They are genuinely that nice.
Just beautiful jerseys.
All right, Alicia here for her birdie, and she cans it. Yeah.
Nice little bounce in there. Straddling out, here's Erica.
The tree was nice enough to stop her, but giving her a little trouble. Oh, it's so close. Just chaining out.
So we have mostly Innova baskets here at Highlands, and just one temporary basket on hole 6.
Yeah, I really like these baskets. They do catch pretty well. And that was there for a birdie.
That's a nice little reach out. Colleen starts off one down.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, the tighter chains like the Prodigy baskets, they can really push you out. So people don't like them as much because it shows your imperfections. So these ones are a little bit more forgiving.
That's right. And there we go.
Little tap in there.
Tap it in. And these baskets actually, as you see, aren't in the ground. At this course at Highlands Nordic, the baskets come out at the end of the season to make way for the cross-country ski trails. So they just set them off to the side or take them in for the winter.
Wonderful multi-purpose property, right? They have camps there and stuff as well.
Natural fairways. Dustin Wallace, the Polito Ford truck guy, sponsoring hole 2. We're going all the way up to the far basket as we take a look at this drone preview. 283 feet to the top of the hill. It plays more like 330, 340.
Yeah, actually the rangefinders now are amazing. They were rangefinding, because we're going to the lower basket for this one.
Oh, sorry, that's right. Yeah.
And they rangefinded it at 380 or 360, I think, because the rangefinders now can show you elevation and show you what it plays like, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's very valuable. Those ridges, those sand ridges on the top and the bottom are both casual relief if there's an unsafe lie backwards from the basket. But if they can land it right up on that plateau, it's an easy birdie.
Alicia has given this a huge rip. Just hyzering out to the left a little.
She's going to have to putt over that left bush to get up there for her par.
And you can see this, and the roll down for me. Yeah. You can see this is quite a pump to get up the hill, and I think I underestimated it there.
One of the first of many scenic holes at this course. And Kat also coming up a bit short.
Just going the Alicia route.
Anybody playing this course blind today? Did everyone get up for a practice round?
I believe Brianna maybe practiced, maybe. But I know this is a brand new course for her. And I know Erica hasn't been out as much, so she said she's played it once or twice in the last few months. And I'm playing this kind of blind.
The new layout.
Yeah. I don't think I've played here in about 2 years.
Up over the hazard. I think Brianna just was at the bottom, yeah. So she's going to do a little forehand over the bushes.
That was a great run. I'm pretty sure she hit the basket there at the bottom, so...
A lot of those are blind.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't tell you how straight up this hill is.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this.
That is not a walking path. Kat, a little peekaboo putt of her own.
Ooh, and that was a good look for her there. And I do believe this was Erica's drive, so she had gotten all the way up on top, which was really nice.
The play for the long basket in the second round is almost to go for the yellow basket here, to land in that zone and then be able to get up for your red basket.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we'll see that in the second round.
Oh, just a little bit of chains on the left side. Erica's going to want that one back.
Yeah, it's really tough going from the best drive to a tap-in bogey there.
This is for your par now?
Yes, yeah.
1 foot on the edge, and no problem.
I was a little unhappy about that upshot, but it worked out. And Alicia for a par.
Yeah, that's a good save. Par feels decent on this hole, just because there's so much trouble you can get into off the tee.
And there's Brianna's par, and she was very close, so she did hit the pole and just kind of sit right there, which was a really nice run for her, too.
And Kat, just clean it up.
Just the best upshot of them all. Having a stress-free tap-in par like that is nice on a challenging hole.
Top of the line roofing from the top of that last hole. We're going down through the valley on hole 3. And then there's a little bit of a creek and a beaver pond on the left that's out of bounds. How do you play this hole, Colleen?
Now, it's 284 feet, and I'd say you'd think it isn't accurate because you're going downhill, so you think, oh, it'll glide and it'll be fine, but it is very much that distance. So my play is throwing understable on a little bit of a hyzer, trying to hope it flips up and goes straight for you and doesn't ante too much out. And I think that's what most of us are doing, kind of throwing at these trees on the left side and hoping it kind of fades into this gap.
Yeah, the catch zone is much nicer on the left. The right, it gets a little thick, so we'll see how these ladies approach it.
This is Alicia. And I think this is her Opto Saint.
And that's hyzering early, crashing into the trees, but those trees are inbounds. Over the creek to the left is inbounds, so she'll be safe.
And this is Kat. I think this is her D3 or D4.
Ooh, getting a nice flex on that.
Yeah, so that understability to get you to kind of S around.
Yeah, that row of trees on the right stretches out quite a bit to get around them at the gap. Colleen getting the flex real nice here. Looking to park it almost. just past the basket, was
Yeah. Yeah, and when I went up there, I was like, "Oh no, was this road OB?" It was in bounds, but
it? Yeah, some roads are OB. This one is not. This is just an access road to the top of the property.
just a
And
beautiful
look at
line.
this.
Look at that.
Kisses the leaf, and she's going to find the road.
Just a huge pump.
Erica didn't get the turn that she wanted.
But she is going to get far enough up. It does. There are a lot of trees there, but you usually end up okay. A great run for Kat. She had the right height on that. That was beautiful. And so Erica punched all the way through all those trees and is just at the edge of the road. So she's going to take the road route over to the basket. I'm just hoping to probably stay on the road up there.
And she spent a lot of time lining up that shot and just caught the leaf, so she's got to go at it again.
She's got a nice little window here, though. Ooh, and
Just short. Now that area was cleaned up before the tournament, but there's still a few saplings there in your way, a little bit of obstacles to overcome. Trail markers are around the course sometimes as well. Brianna almost gets the birdie.
Yeah, and she did go far. That was great.
Yeah, that is one of the best ways to play that hole if you can get it up to the road.
And I believe that was for Alicia's 2 there.
She got...
And me as well, so we both birdied that one. That was nice.
Yeah, this hole, the OB doesn't usually come into play. It's a fairly easy par and a great birdie. On to hole 4 now. The Forefathers feature hole. This playing 236 way, way, way uphill as we have a look at that. Just around the corner the tee pad starts and it's straight up the hill. And there is an OB fence in play, not pictured here, only about 20 feet behind the basket.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is uphill. It's hard to get up there unless you crazy pump it, but we are looking to kind of go somewhat right at the basket, have a little bit of S turn to it, and have it slide up towards the basket. You really don't want to do too much of a hyzer at this one. If it hits those trees on the right, you're in a little bit of trouble for your putt.
The rollaway danger comes into play there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alicia's going to be happy with that. What are we throwing on this? I know people disc up a lot on this hole.
Yeah, absolutely. I was throwing a driver, and I feel like most people are throwing a driver. Mm-hmm. I didn't quite go to a distance driver. I believe we're all throwing fairway drivers here, just because you don't want that super skip at the end. So this might be Kat's FX2.
Just to push that height and that distance. Yep, and that's going to be straight on. It's a lot nicer putting straight on than going past the basket. My fingers crossed we don't see any rollaways. Brianna in her classic disc golfing dress. Pretty much always playing in a dress, right?
Yeah,
that's her style.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta have a little flair. And Erica just going a little nose up, so it's hyzering out a little early, but she's still up there, still has a look at it. And this is a deadly basket to run.
This was the raised basket for the ace bounty that was on at the tournament, so they made it really tough to get.
Oh, what a run. That was beautiful.
That's very gutsy. Yeah, the layup for the par is definitely the safe route, but if you want to go for it, from the bottom of the basket is where to go for it. Brianna just hyzered it out.
You can see us all a little scared. It's just, if you hit that and roll down, you're going all the way back to the tee pad.
We saw some 5s here that were birdie putts. And like, you're already going nose up the hill, and then the raised basket on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kat for her 2 here. Let's see. Hopefully one of us can get it for us all. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Great convert.
Make some cash. A little fist bump there from Kat. She just came off her performance at the Toronto Island tournament before this. Do you remember how she did there?
I believe she came fourth by 1 stroke. So her and Brianna were, I believe, tied, and Brianna was in the clubhouse and Kat was coming in and just took a bogey that pushed her 1 back, just out of cash. So Kat's looking for her first cash out in FPO after coming off her hot performance at AM Worlds. 9th in AM Worlds. We had 3 women in the top 10 for Canadians.
Canada was well represented this year. Really proud of all of our athletes that are coming up and more on the tour. TROON Highlands Golf Course, our next door neighbors here at TROON Highlands, at Highlands Nordic, sponsoring hole 5. 332 feet down the tunnel. This is a very, very long tunnel. It's about 80% of the hole is to get out of that gap and land in there. Par is a very popular play on this, just to make sure you don't get stuck in those trees. OB right, OB left. Get down the tunnel and get your par. I think we only saw 1 birdie on the MPO round. Never mind the rest of the field.
Yeah, this is a very challenging course. You have to go straight for so long, so it is hard to get a disc to do that. Again, I think the play here is hyzer flipping something understable, but not too understable. Kat throwing that pinkish driver again. Just finding the trees and dropping down. So she's not OB. She's going to be fine there.
Yeah, those trees can give you favorable kicks, especially the cedars on the right. They like to spit it back out on the fairway for you.
And Alicia also getting a great lucky bounce.
The hands up, the praise there. It can spit out on the other side. There is the short tee fairway on the right of those cedars before the OB fence, but then you have to hyzer your approach shot in. Wow, you just laced that right out the gap.
Just kind of using every bit of the fairway I could.
Yeah, perfect flex. And it's still going to be a long putt for birdie even, so
yeah, absolutely.
You're not out of trouble yet.
This is a very challenging par 3.
Brianna throws that shot so well. And she's going to catch the tall grass, but she got most of the work done there.
Yeah. I love how Erica can make that go so straight.
I wish I knew what disc that was. That only went straight.
It is her ultimate kind of throw, though, right? That she's very much got that ultimate throw. And she has such control over the disc.
She can really master the understable plastic, that's for sure.
And I'm loving seeing all these forehands from the FPO divisions. This is beautiful.
Look
Kat
at that,
just
right at it.
that.
A little bit of drizzle coming down at this point in the day. We had rain in the forecast all day, but we only got about half an hour of it in total.
Yeah, actually, we really lucked out.
You just lost 20 points on your...
Erica probably wanted that a little bit closer, but she'll have a look for her 3.
Luckily has the window just on the property line of the golf course.
And this is Brianna's Berg. She has been
Great
money with
shot.
that. That was the one she did on hole 3 as well. It was a long look for the 2.
Bit of a 3/4 bid you gave that.
Yeah.
And
Tell myself, don't be greedy. Oh, great putt.
Yes.
I know she wanted that up shot closer, so that probably felt really
that's
good.
That's an awesome save. Alicia in. That'll be the bogey for her?
I believe so. I think it's a 5, actually, a double bogey. I believe. Kat tapping in her par and tapping in my par.
Go, yeah. Just get out of trouble on this hole and on to the beast that is hole 6, the winding par 4.
Now you can see we have a little bit of a backup there, but you guys don't have to worry about that.
This one gave a lot of people some trouble. 425 feet. Now there is a normal par 3 on the standard layout that's only about 230 in. Going through the forest here.
Will we see that? We'll see that basket on the fly through.
I believe so, yeah. So Boston Pizza sponsoring this hole in Collingwood, Ontario. You want to get up to the basket about for your landing zone and then head down the trail again for your second shot.
Now, just where the camera is now is a little bit of a creek, so it's not that much danger, but it is something to think about. You want to get at least past that. And you're right, I think landing up just left of this basket on the left side of the fairway is ideal. So you have just a little hyzer or simple rock approach or something.
This was one of the hardest holes on the day. It was an average of over par. We had...
So Kat letting go straight, not turning it enough. It went into those trees on the left.
Just past the creek. That is going right at the creek.
Yep, I'm going to do the same thing but worse.
But I think he made it just over. That'll be safe, right?
It's a great story about me eating salami on our break here, and then that's why I was rubbing my hand. All the grease all over it.
The salami slip. Classic excuse.
And Brianna laces it. That was amazing. So that's the prime landing zone.
Yeah. She's so good in those woods.
Yeah. And with that disc. Oh.
Just a bit to the right. Erica catches. That's a common tree to hit.
Yeah. And she should knock down, be not too bad there, but it's always tough when we're off to the sides.
Turned over and wow, that's
and
a
another
very
that's
generous
2 in a row, right? She's been kicked back out by the trees.
She'll have to give that tree a high five. And just around the lights that light the trails, actually, for your pitch out.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just do what you got to do.
Still a savable par 4, even though it's difficult. If you do mess one shot up, you can still save the par.
Absolutely. And Alicia, again, just staying on the fairway. So, she's managing the trouble that she's getting into.
It's almost like she put the rails up at the bowling alley for the gutters to keep her back on. And that was heading right towards the red basket.
Yeah, that was maybe saving her a little bit there.
Now, for our viewers that may have never heard about like the black ace situation, what happens when a black ace happens? Where do you play the disc from?
Usually, so you have to play from right under the disc. So as if it's just floating in the air or something, you'd play from right below it. But if the 2 meter rule is in effect, and if it is a raised basket, like hole 4, it would actually be, if it's above the 2 meters, that would be a stroke.
That would be
so. That's the only time where it really comes into play as an issue. But I have black ace a hole, and I was on the back side of the basket, so I had to stand behind it, trying to throw through it. So that can be trouble.
Your whole swing is impeded at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the ones where you wish they just took the basket out for your round. We have multiple cards playing multiple layouts this tournament, so that's why we see both baskets in play still. Kat right in the middle of the fairway here. This will be up for her 3rd shot. Another bit of a turnover.
Now, this is a slight incline. You can kind of see it a little bit here in the video, but I think that threw all of us off for the last few shots you've seen. Just not letting go in the right spot. And this is Brianna's 2nd shot.
Unreal. Almost goes in.
For the eagle. That would be insane on this hole. I know this is one of the hardest holes. It was the hardest in our division, but it was one of the hardest overall.
Yeah, for any division, if they were going to the long basket. A lot of people were very happy with pars, and she almost tooed it. Alicia.
And she'll be up there for a putt.
Reaching out here at Highlands Nordic, reaching out just off the fairway. That's kind of the style for a lot of shots.
Very much.
And yeah.
I love that forehand.
Mm-hmm. Nice and smooth.
Like I was saying, just so impressed with all these forehands we're seeing the ladies do. Really becoming well-rounded players. I think it's, we all lean on our backhand a little bit, so it's nice to see them using it in the tournament.
Our spotters actually commented, all of the female, even the AM1 females coming through, using their forehands almost more effectively on some of the holes than the guys.
Yeah, I think you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and those guys are a little reckless with how far they can throw. They don't always think about the consequences of what
One
kind of
mistake
lines they're
often
doing.
leads to more mistakes.
Yeah.
All right, you're clearing some debris there for the putt and setting up. This is for the par save. Just
Ooh,
passed.
I think that might have been for the 5 save.
The 5, so it's going
Yeah.
to be a double on
It's going to be a
6.
double bogey. Oh, and a great run from Alicia there.
She's going to also take a 6.
Very nice putt.
Right into the heart.
Excellent. Taking her time, making sure she's steady. And like, looked like such an easy 3, but I can't tell you how hard that was.
That was a nerve-wracking 3 for.
And she made that
Brianna.
look so easy.
Yeah, until you play. That was another temporary layout hole that was added in to make the long tees for the tournament, and I think it's going to stay at the course. One of the most challenging ones for all fields on the day. The FPO getting out of it and onto hole 7, which finds itself pretty much smack dab in the middle. Sponsored by Hewlett-Packard. Everyone's throwing from the same tee here. 348 measured around the corner. I guess
Oh, okay, yeah.
And on that hard dog leg left.
So as the bird flies, not straight at. And this is just a big hyzer. It is very deceptive. You don't want to throw too far. You don't want to cut left too early. It's very finicky knowing your distance and knowing your overstable discs.
And that 90-degree turn is almost a 90-degree turn. It's set about 80 feet, 90 feet back in from the corner, so you still have to. I like the option of throwing something a little bit more neutral than overstable and letting it float far around the corner to get that distance, to make that putt that much shorter.
Yeah, and I know previously I'd always overshot this basket, so that's one thing that I know we're all trying not to do.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have a look, but be in the fairway.
Just on the edge of the forest is Brianna. That's not a bad spot to be.
Yeah, she nicked the right side a little, so I think that helped her a little.
And Erica, she has laced that shot now.
That looks beautiful.
This is her home course, so she knows this shot inside out. It is a big advantage to know this hole.
It's Alicia.
Little high, but that's not a bad height to throw at.
I believe Alicia threw a Firebird.
Yeah. Cat flexes something really overstable.
Yeah, that
there.
was, yeah, I think that was like a D1 or a D2 or something. A D2, yeah. And I'm also throwing a Firebird. So we're all trying to get it overstable. I tried to throw it high enough to get the height to come left because it is quite left once you get around that corner. So we just see.
Ooh, she couldn't even get her full swing in there.
Yeah,
So that was a great job to get around the corner.
absolutely. Oh, what a good run.
That should be an easy par for Bree.
Oh, and that was
just
for her
passed.
3. That was a great run for her 3. Looks like it went in. It went right through. I believe that's Erica from the bushes.
Ooh, we didn't see one come out. She's still in there.
Yeah. Just a bit ahead.
Luckily, there's not a lot of poison ivy in there. It's pretty safe.
Great run. She
Right
just
off
hit the bowl.
basket.
And this is Cat for her too. So nice overstable. She got enough of the left. She's inside the circle. And a
Making
great
bank.
birdie.
Nice.
And that's always tough when you have to straddle out like that because you've got little bushes and whatever in your way.
It's so far from her natural putting style, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Colleen, that's
the two.
A 2 as well. Are you going to move that CTP flag?
No, yeah. My whole division did not realize there were CTPs until about 2 holes before the end of the tournament. The entire tournament. So
It's all right. Spreading the love around to the other divisions.
We were like, everyone else can have prizes. It's fine.
These ladies, they're playing for the money.
The money and the glory. So I believe I've never won this tournament. I feel like last time I played, Erica won because this is her home course, so she crushes it here.
That's right. You pick parties, hole 8. 348 feet. This is, you want to break this one down, Colleen?
Yeah, this one is, all this tall grass is OB. It is a par 4 from where we're playing, and it's the same tee pad the next round, but it's a par 3 instead. So it's the easier layout, and we're all throwing a hyzer over this tall grass. You're really cutting it close with it as well and hoping to skip on this little strip of green so that you can skip through these trees and have a look at the birdie or eagle in this case. And it is a real push for distance. I believe it's at least 300 feet to get across. So for us, it's a full pump. Some of us even turning it over to get that extra little bit of distance.
Yeah, we measured it at 295 dead ahead to the tree to get across the field.
And we had some great spotters here, so they were really nice to aim at, those guys waiting for the next hole.
That's going to be just over and safe?
Yeah. And it is so scary.
Yeah, there hasn't been a tournament here in 2 or 3 years. The original ODSA designers and president or director Chris Oslands helped design the course and host the first couple tournaments. Then a couple years off, COVID happened, and then that's when I stepped in to take it over. So we did a little bit of redesigning of the course to get it tournament ready again. And here we are, the new layout.
And we are so happy to have you out here running stuff. Very lucky to have you.
Brianna's going to take the short gap. There is a window on the far left. It's not the ideal one, but you can save it from there.
Yeah, so I'd say there's probably 3 windows where Brianna went, then about where Erica's going right now, and then just past that tree that you can see right in the middle.
Yeah, that white marker arrow, if you can see that off in the distance, just where Alicia's disc passed.
Beautiful. See that turn on her disc before it faded? That was wonderful.
Big smile on the face there. She's trying to keep pace with the rest of the card. This is, again, her first event, so she's doing a great job.
Absolutely. And it's tough when you have the power, but you don't have the experience, because you really, the whole time you're like, this is weird, this is new. Am I doing okay? I don't know. So she did fantastic. I know my first FPO event was a disaster.
And then add camera pressure into it all. She's getting, well, maybe she's getting two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Getting
the cameras and the first event over at the same time. That's a good approach there from Kat.
It's a great shot. Just a little roll away, but that's not too far away.
No.
Ooh, and a good run. I believe that was for her too, as well.
This for eagle. And hits it from circle 2. Colleen bounces back with a double bogey for a birdie and an eagle. That's got to be a big sigh of relief after the double.
Yeah, absolutely. And to have an opportunity at an eagle, that was wonderful.
It does play. You can play it either way. A par 4 really pushes that ability to take the safe route and go for the birdie.
Great
Par 3, you're pushing that risk-reward factor on this hole.
And I do feel, after you saw those drives, I mean, I feel like FPO could play this as a par 3 all the time. But it is nice, like, it's tough when we play courses where there's not a lot of scoring opportunities. Mm-hmm. And then our scores end up so positive instead of negative. So it's nice to have the division come out with some good negative strokes there.
Yeah, and to see that blue on the scorecard is really nice too.
Yeah.
Looking at hole 9, the island hole, the drop zone goes up to about 80 feet short of the green if you miss it, coming out of the woods here. This one was worth $2,000 in the afternoon if you aced it too.
Yes, top link ace hole. And this hole, I 100% played blind. I didn't know what I was aiming at. This was a tough hole. We had all seen it on our way up and everything, but it...
yeah, the green is about...
It's tough. You can't see anything from the tee pad.
The Christmas trees and the long grass block the front of the green. It's about 70 feet long and about 80 feet wide.
Yeah. And 292 feet is a pretty comfortable distance for us, to the point where we're a little worried about going 330 and overshooting it. There
is OB behind, obviously.
So it's very much a disc choice.
Skipping out point. Long is a big risk factor.
I heard stories of people skipping in and skipping out. So
yeah.
The island is
there from Kat.
Yeah, the island is circled in this kind of teepee thing, right? The blue triangle things.
They're markers for cross country ski races, and they serve as a really nice barrier. But if the disc does catch it on the inside, it kind of just launches off a ramp and goes right out. Not a lot of saves inbounds off that wall.
Now you can see I think you might be able to see him here, but we had a spotter on this hole just off to the left, letting us know in or out. And we had some tough throws on this hole. The filming is done a little bit differently, so this was technically our last hole. So we're all a little tired after the first round, and it's a little stressful to end on this kind of hole.
Brianna just off to the left. That probably skipped out, I believe.
Yeah, so I believe we had 4 out of 5 OB.
Yeah, tough last hole to finish on. You'll be playing the course in its proper order in the second round. And it's like birdie or bogey for a lot of these scores on this hole.
Yeah, absolutely. And they all, most of them feel very birdieable, but, the wind, the pressure, the filming can get to you. And I think for this one, Erica laying up there, that was a smart choice. We were on the top of the hill. It's windy.
The wind
you can
really
see
caught that one.
Yeah.
Right over to the edge of the green for Alicia. Yeah, as soon as you up on the mountain, you show the bottom of that flight plate to the sky at all, it's going to take it for a ride. And that is almost cash in a par save.
Just hit the bowl.
That would have been a nice cash in there for Alicia. She's going to finish her round a few back off the pace, but ready to make the improvement for the second round.
Great putt from Erica. She very much extends out. I really like her finished pose. Very much using her whole body.
So understandably so, with all the missed greens, this was the hardest hole for you guys on the day. But I wouldn't say it really is the hardest hole overall. Just if you hit it, you hit it. You're getting a bogey if you don't. So
yeah, I think hardest tee shot makes sense, but when you look at what we just did on hole 6, that seems like the most stressful hole.
So Kat's gonna get the par and the stroke on the card. And she pulls back up to even. So at the halfway point almost of the course, here we are on hole 10. This is another added tee pad, this long, narrow tunnel shot from the tees from the gold, 452 feet. Plays 525 around both corners. We're looking at a double dog leg left. How do you break this one down?
You're gonna see me do something completely different than what I'm gonna say, but it really is a layup over here. That's the shorts, the blues to the right there, or the whites.
Yep.
That's a great spot to lay up. Just this dirt path, if you can land somewhere where it has good footing, and then do a really big hyzer down the hill. It gives you a look for the 3 if you're taking that play. Easier said than done, I think, for all of us there.
This back row of cabbage and trees has an OB creek in it. Anything beyond that creek is OB.
Yeah, so then with that big hyzer, you're having to make sure you don't go too far. So I think the first shot that we're going to see for most people is just pretty much laying it up to the gap and then hoping that you land in a spot that you have a good look. Not too deep, not in the left or right of this first tunnel.
And this first tunnel is the majority of the hole that the treble can give you. If you can't get out this tunnel, you're looking at maybe a par at best. Mm-hmm. It could be a bogey right off the bat if you don't get this gap.
I did not lay up and threw a driver.
Well, and probably a little flare down the hill too.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. I was very happy with it. And then I watched everyone else throw their mid-ranges and putters and lay up and was like, oh, maybe I made a bad choice.
We'll see, because sometimes you can roll down that hole and you end up on the sides in the forest, but...
Yeah.
A lot of the times,
I watched people land right in the middle of the fairway and then just the last little bounce, caught an edge, rolled left or right, and then they're in the brush.
Yeah, it's a very cool hole.
And Kat, that was no layup. She was
gonna-
also going for that.
Yeah,
That was beautiful.
she's going to be rewarded from that if it doesn't get into the forest there.
Now, the only risk about going for this on your first drive is that if you do go on the hill and skip down, it's very hard to make it all the way down. So then your second shot, you're standing on a hill.
And that's a very steep, one of the steepest slopes on the course, actually.
Yeah.
Aside from 17.
So Alicia went a little bit
great.
short, and then that forehand got her all the way down the hill.
That's an excellent recovery.
It was amazing. So she's going to have a look for the 3, a far 3, but easy 4.
Mm-hmm.
And this is ideal where Brie is. This is what I was talking about the middle, and then you just do a really big hyzer.
Oh, she did the 360 release.
Little spin and everything.
Yeah, that's going to push in. Still going to be probably circle 2, because that goes way in, but it's a great spot to be.
And this was Erica's drive. A little pinched off on the left. Mm-hmm. But again, because it's a par 4, it is a little bit manageable. You just really want to get out into that green and have a look at least. And this was my drive. So I'm on the right side.
Almost all the way down the hill. That is an excellent distance. That's probably the longest drive I've seen off the tee. To get that far down.
And then, well, I guess Kat maybe is, because she was just... you can see me just ahead of her in there.
Oh yeah, there you are,
so
moving around.
She's barely behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That was her drive. That was a pump.
So these are going to be real birdie looks here.
So this is for my 3,
Okay.
And I'm pulling out a roller. This may be the first or second time I've ever thrown a roller in a tournament.
Let's see if the turn comes. That's real gutsy going towards that creek.
Yeah.
And that's going to curl up real nice.
It did. And it doesn't always go like that, but...
Yeah, one of the most unpredictable shots in the sport.
Absolutely.
And a really nice pitch up there from Alicia.
Yeah, she's going to grab her par, her 4 there, and run away. That was excellent recovery.
That forehand out, yeah.
And this is Brie for her 3.
Oh! How many times has she done that already?
Right. She's all over that basket. Erica for her 3, hitting the basket as well.
Basket. Yeah, I think if Brie cashes on those outsiders, we're looking at a tie game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kat for her 3. It was a great, excellent, safe run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And, I had a good drive, but, that second shot was awful. So I was very happy with that recovery.
Yeah, par is good on a normal day on this hole, but to get it after the chip out, even better.
Yeah. And, I mean, everyone would rather have the birdie look and tap in par like these girls, but...
Yeah.
Par is a par.
on a double dogleg hole that's over 500 feet, there's a lot of different ways to get your par.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we took all of them.
That's it. Yeah. Now the next hole we've got coming up is going to be on the other side of the creek. The short tee is to the left, so we go right on this one. Ice River Springs sponsoring all of our waste-free recycled plastic water for the weekend. There is a small fool's gap on the left, but you can't even see it on the drone footage. This is the main route up the middle.
Yeah, we were all looking at it off the tee pad, joking about taking it.
Shout out to Chad Peaker, DC Peaks, for putting that in just before the tournament started. I wonder if anyone ended up taking it.
Well, in the play here, typically, I mean, it is the safer play and, let's say, smarter, is to hit off that dirt and skip left here.
Really good opportunity for the flare on this
one. I agree. I really love this shot because if you throw it low enough and get that skip, it feels so good to have a skip ace run, or at least a skip park job. It feels good.
Ooh, Brianna almost did just that.
Using the wall to help her a little, too.
It's got a little bank turn. This almost looks like a motocross racetrack here. That's the better line. Real tight, real sharp. Was that a super stable fairway there?
Yeah, it was just a Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, okay.
Threw it nice and low, so it didn't have enough time to do anything else. And Erica is really cutting that fairway on the right side close, but she managed to sneak up and have a little skip.
Weird hole because it's slightly uphill and the ceiling actually gets higher the further up the fairway you go. So you can push it a little high once it gets to that turn.
Yeah. Kat found one of the trees on the right, but she didn't go into the creek on the left. She stayed pretty much on the fairway. So that was a pretty lucky bounce. And a great skip.
That's exactly how you draw it up for the long birdie look. Kat has a nice window here over the creek.
Very picturesque.
I can't decide which ones are the scenic holes in this course because nearly all of them are.
Well, I think this one has to be mentioned just because of this creek next to it and the path that goes to the next hole. If you do come out to this course, ooh, great run. Make sure you don't take this path up this big wide path. Go up the little creek path. It is beautiful. It's so worth it. I took my card up at the second round and they were like, "Are you sure you want to go?" And I was like, "It's so pretty though."
You're basically walking up a waterfall.
Yeah.
And then right through the woods.
Some good looks for twos there.
The long birdie look here. If you can cash one in on this hole, that's a stroke on the card most days.
Yeah, absolutely.
This course doesn't play exceptionally long, but the technicality of it and the variation of it makes you always guessing. You barely throw the same tee shot more than twice in the whole round. So it's really testing your bag, your inventiveness with your discs, and of course your recovery.
Yeah. And your trust. Like, a lot of the fairways are tight, but not too tight, so they're deceptive. You really have to trust that your disc isn't going to flip too much or turn too much or do anything too much.
Those natural fairways are kind of carved from the ski trails, and then they're maintained through the summer. So you're looking at, they look like a golf course cut fairway. It's really, really pristine, picturesque. We're coming up on a little break here after the front 10.
Yeah, so we got a few birdies going on there. We're going to go into, I believe is there 10 more holes. So I'm at -2, Brianna at +1, Kat is at even, Erica is at +3, and Alicia is at a little bit more than Erica.
11. So we're going to come back for the back 11 actually.
Back 11, and
we're going to come down the hill.
yeah. Thank you for joining us. We